Here's what I've learned in this last year, and you start sharing what you've learned, the gold of what you learned, because what that does, it starts to prime the pump of your vision. So you share your lessons. I learned this, I learned that. And as your team grows, by the way, guess what? They will do their own debrief as well. We do what we want our team to do. It's follow the leader for the reason. But small teams, or if you're just starting this out, it's you setting the stage of this. Then you go into, and here's what I see for next year. Don't make it too mechanical and too transactional. Don't sit there and just throw out a bunch of numbers. We're going to hit this milestone. We're going to hit this money thing. We're going to hit this profitability. We're going to do, less than 10% cancellations. You'll lose your team. This is meant to inspire. And there are three objectives, three initiatives for this year. I would keep it to three. Number one, you choose the three, and this is where your coach will help you. Actually, your coach will help you with all of this, but choose three things that you want to focus on for 2026. I know for Ashley, one of the things for you was expansion. So you talked about, because you already did this with your team, you talked about expanding and why expanding is important. Like you have to let your team know why you're doing this. They need to believe in you and believe that they want to be a part of this, which means you need to believe in it. And then you talk about the next initiative and the next initiative. And then you can talk about ideas of how we're going to get there and then leave it open. And then they can ask questions. This sets the stage. And then from there, it goes into creating the 90-day sprint, creating the plan. This should be done every year, every quarter. Now, the quarter doesn't need the big vision. The quarter is the smaller vision, meaning what do we do every quarter? We reflect on the previous 3 months, the exact same process. The only thing that changes is the time frame. And then we create the next plan. So at the end of Q1, we're reflecting on Q1 and creating Q2. And as you build up your leadership team, you don't necessarily need to do this with smaller teams, but as you start building up some leadership teams, you're in the, one, two, three, four, $5 million business where you have more people, they start doing the exact same thing for their position. That means you're not holding on to these tools, these concepts. You are freely giving them. This is how you start to get out of the day to day. You start get out of working in the business because the tools, the philosophy, the values, the meetings that you have, and the metrics allow you to run and manage the business. But if you don't have this, you don't just get yourself out of the business. It will freaking implode. This right here is one of the most important things and great use of your time you can do. And it's a perfect time to do this right now. That's why I've talked about this the last couple of times. It is freaking critical because when we coach and guide you, guess what we're coaching and guide you on? Your plan and your vision. And there's not a darn problem that we can't help you with. Not saying it's going to be easy. I'm not saying there's not a problem with the number of therapists that are out there. Yes, I get all fired up when I talk about this, but it's because I want all of you to just be ridiculously successful in the things that are most important to you. And there's two parts that it takes to get there. One, it takes structure, right? This is what we're talking about. I gave you an exact structure. It works every time. So we have to commit to doing those things. And then the other part it takes us. We have to elevate us. We have to become a better version of us, better communication skills, better leadership skills, better emotional intelligence, dealing with our own stuff. We have to improve us, how we think, our mindset, our limiting beliefs, our control challenges, our identity challenges. That's the deeper stuff. But you need both. The deeper stuff without a structure, it's not going to do that much. Having a structure, which is out there, most people have some kind of structure, but without doing the deeper stuff, that's where most programs and coaches fail. They're all about the structure of what to do. Nobody focuses on you as the person doing it and all the stuff that we have in our head. I realize both is needed. And the area that we have to really spend the most time on, if we look at Pareto's principle, is 80-20. 80% personal, 20% structure, not the other way around. Because once you get clear on what to do, everything's now about you. How are you communicating? How are you handling those things that, you just want to react and fire back? How are you dealing with your own fears and worries around money? I've had plenty, still challenging to this day, based on my upbringing and everything. That affects my ability, or did affect my ability to make money, even though I knew what to do. Still freaking self-sabotage my business. Didn't even realize it. We all have that stuff, which is why we keep measuring every, if it's a staff meeting weekly, if it's a management meeting monthly, leadership meeting quarterly, we keep looking at our wins and our progress because we need reinforcement that what we're doing is moving us forward. If not, it's easy just to shift into the negative place. Has anybody read the book, The Gap in the Game? The Gap in the Game by Benjamin Hardy and Dan Sullivan. Dan Sullivan, a strategic coach, was my coach for 10 years. I learned about this concept of the gap. The gap, and this is where, by the way, the debrief came from. This is where I first kind of learned about this idea of reflection. The gap really, I'll just give you a short thing, but if you haven't read the book, it's a great read. It's an easy read. It's one of our recommended books, Gap in the Game. Um, the gap really talks about this idea that when you look forward to what you haven't achieved yet, it puts you in a negative space, and it's impossible to be creative in that negative space. When you instead focus on making progress by reflecting back from where you started, it shifts and puts you in a positive space, a creative and innovative space. What most people do, they make progress towards something, whatever it is, and they immediately talk about what they haven't done yet. Oh my God, congratulations, you just hit this great goal. Yeah, but we really fell short. We really wanted to get a little bit more. We really wanted to hire 3 therapists. We only hired 2. Like right there is putting yourself in a negative place, the gap. So that's a simplistic version of why we're constantly reflecting back about the progress we're making and not looking forward with what we haven't done yet. The only reason we're creating the vision so we have a North Star, a direction of where we're going. And then we put a plan, execute it, reflect back, learn, tweak, repeat. The other thing that can put you in the gap is looking at others and comparing yourself to others, which is why social media is really dangerous for people like us, because everyone on social media is giving you what they want you to see. And it's easy for your brain to take that as real. They have it all figured out. They don't. I don't. I just know what I know based on my experience and what we've done, and based on working with so many of you and what works. So protecting our brain, which is the most important thing we have, is critical for keeping us out of this gap. So as we wind down 2025, I'd love to hear your thoughts for the next several minutes here. What do you think about this from your own perspective? How is this landing for you? What commitment are you going to make? What ownership are you going to make? I wouldn't take any client on. I didn't think they had everything they need to create the business that supports the life they want. Each one of you has that. 100% has that. And we are a journey together in doing this. So what is resonating for you right now? What's clicking? Coaches, you can chime in too, Carrie. I don't want to keep you quiet. You got too much good stuff to share. Carrie, as a coach, what's resonating for you based on what I shared?
Well, I've talked with probably all of my clients or the majority of them about the gap in the gain as we've been doing the debrief because it just becomes so obvious as we're going through the debrief how we just naturally get into that gap mindset. And one of my very recent clients, who I haven't been working with very long at all, she gave me 3 wins, like what you were talking about, on her annual debrief. And I'm like, all right, I know we got more than 3 here. Let's get after it. And once we did, we came up, with a long list. And I think it was last month, Jamie, when you said, don't belittle your wins. And so I've tried to remind my clients of that there's no win that is insignificant, even if it feels small at the time. So I think one of the things those of you that don't know me, I was in a partnership in my business, and my business partner was really, really strong at remembering to recognize and celebrate things that we achieved. She was a lot better at that than I was, so I learned a lot from her about that. So we would always try to stop and reflect back on even the small wins. So hopefully you can all do that. And I think even personally in this season of life with the holidays coming up, it's a really good time to reflect on your personal and family wins as well.
Yeah, 100%. Your personal life wins, your business wins, your leadership or team wins. And if you want to split it up, whatever works for you. So thank you. Anybody else before we say bon voyage to 2025? We still have 2 weeks to go to create this plan, this picture, this vision, this mission that each of you are on, this journey that each of you are on. Heather Ray, is this your first office hours?
Yes, this is.
Well, welcome, Heather. What are you taking from this as someone that's brand new to Practice Freedom U to this philosophy?
Yeah, no, I appreciate all the input from this call. It really has gotten my brain stirring on what I really want to launch to my team starting in the new year. We are a newer practice. Like I said, we've been around 2 years, but we have a team of 16. So we grew really fast, which has been great, but it's made it difficult for me because I am young. I'm a newer therapist, and now I'm over 16 people. So I've really started to differentiate what are my roles as an owner, what are my roles as a therapist, how do I want that to be translated to our team, what do I delegate? And so I'm working a lot with Carrie on learning what my roles are, what do I learn to delegate, and how do I enable my team to do that well. So
Yeah,
this has given me a lot of things to go with my team this year and just make sure we're all on the same page because I don't think we have in previous years because we've been just going because we got kids in so quickly that it was just jump on board and let's go together. And I want to have a better plan going into this next year.
yeah. Excellent. Great perspective and mindset. And you have a wonderful coach with Carrie to help guide you. So here's what I put to all of you. If you haven't done so, block out some time, put together your wins, your challenges, how you handle them, your lessons, your vision, and share it with your coach. Create that accountability. Your coach and you can talk it through and end up with a clear vision that's broken down to a plan that your team can get around. And then, of course, depending on your business and size and everything else, they'll come up with all that. And then what the guidance is about the implementation of the plan that we already know is in line with where your business is going, and addressing whatever the challenges and problems come up and whatever the inner stuff that we all have in our brain. That's where the coaching is, not just pointing and directing on what to do, but it starts with you giving us this picture of what's inside of you. So, all of you commit to doing that. Um, it is going to be a wonderful 2026. Thank you so much.